Yeah, hello. What's good, everybody? It's your boy Romanpuss here with the one and only Gol D Roger, King of the Pirates guide. Now, as always, if you have not gone over the traits and skills, here they are as a quick overview cap. Just read them over real quick before we dive into the full video. First thing, we're going to start off section by section, as always. So skip to the sections, whatever you need. If there's ones you don't, then just skip over them as you feel necessary. Anyways, let's dive into it. First things first. Stat recommendations. How should you build him with your medals? We'll get to the medal sets later, but what stats should you put on your medals? And if you're not grinding out the event medals right now, I strongly recommend doing so, as you can get the 18% Roger Pirates medals if you're going to be using him. So I start with attack. That's the primary stat you're going to want. You're going to want to kill. You do loads of damage and you can obliterate people. Now you can, I guess, if you really want to go full HP defense. I don't think that's necessary, and you can definitely kill a lot of people really well if you just build attack. So max out attack if you can. I strongly suggest that one first. And then if you have the 18% or even 24% and can move into other stats, I would recommend building HP on top of that. So if you can get 70% attack, 70% HP, and then honestly just going tankier, you could go 2 extra flat HP medals. I would probably go that route. It's up to you. If you want to just cap out the attack and get full extra 300 flat attack on there as well on top of the 70%, I would do that as well. If you're unfamiliar with the caps on the stats, I would recommend looking at my beginner guide in the playlist of this video. So anyways, let's move on from that. That is our HP and attack overall is what you're going to want on Gol D Roger. All right, now let's talk about the endless list of pros. When I was creating this list, I just was blown away with how the list just keeps going on and on and on, and what this man's does not have is very minimal. So let's just talk about them each section at a time. What his strengths from the very beginning is the ability to just cap a flag at any time he wants. This is actually one thing that's kind of become cancer in League Battle, is that he is able to walk up to any flag. So if you get an enemy team with 3 Rogers on it, good luck trying to defend, because it is extremely difficult. All they do is run up and go onto the flag. So you can take a flag anytime, whether there's an enemy on there or not. I really hate this trait, but unfortunately it's been added to the game and we are stuck with it. Next, you are able to stun people who hit you. When you start capping a flag, if people try to hit you, they will get stunned if they are not immune to stun. So that means they will get stunned, they'll be stunned for a few seconds, and you'll be able to just keep taking the flag, and you can block 3 hits approximately, and you will not get knocked off the flag or start taking regular damage until the 4th hit. So you do need knockback or status effect in order to stop him from the flag. Just trying to down him will not work. On top of that, you can stun people with your skill 2, which is your running dash skill that you can just slash at them, which is insane as well. 100% chance stun. It is very obnoxious. Bandai decided to get rid of just the 5% chance stun and wanted to just make it 100%, because why not? Next, you have insane heals on your flag cap. So you have your heals on your flag cap, and then just to go along with the heals in general, you heal 30% of your HP if you take more than 20%. So if someone hits you for 25% of your life, you're going to get back 30%, which means you're going to heal 5% in total, which is an outrageous trait. It has been the most obnoxious trait to ever exist, besides the taking flags while enemies are on it. The units who have had this trait has been Shanks, the other Roger, and this Roger. So the 2 Rogers and Shanks are the only ones who've had it, and they've been obnoxious in metas anytime they've come out. Next, you ignore damage reduction on your skill 1, which is insane. So no one can specifically out-tank you. Your kind of best bet is to go with defense buffs, but not even that, because the defense buff users are not that great, because everyone ignores defense, and there's a lot of gear 5s out there as well. So really, there's not actually a happy ending for this. And on top of that, if you're a defender, you're just obliterated, because the skill 2 that Roger has does 50% of someone's max HP, as well as an extra percentage damage to defenders. So if you're a defender, you're going to lose automatic 50% of your HP from that skill 2, which really hurts and it really kills you, and I absolutely hate it. So defenders are struggling right now, yet again, because I'm pretty confident Bandai does not like that class in general. So moving on, you are an extremely mobile character. Your skill 2, you press and hold it, you start running with a full dash. It's very similar to the Stampede Boa Hancock, for those of you that are familiar with that unit. It's just press and hold skill, and you keep running, and then the more damage you absorb, the more damage you will reflect back at them when you release the skill. So try and press and hold it if you see people are about to use their skills, because you'll be able to reflect a bunch of damage and probably one-shot many people with it. On top of that, you have a revive. Need I say more? If you're about to die, you will just come back up with 50% HP and come back to life and can potentially just take a game-winning flag. Next, you are immune to status effects. When you are above 97% HP, that is your character boost traits. Just keep an eye out for that. Like when you boost to him, you'll be able to see that trait in general, and it will be a lifesaver. Trust me, it happens. As well as in the never-ending list of pros that he has, your cap speed is not limited to your HP. You don't have to be above a certain threshold in order to have increased cap speed by 50%. You just have to be alone on the flag. And if you're not alone on the flag, you'll generally be having fast cap speed anyway, because you'll have a second person there with you, which is significantly useful. On top of that, you have 80% damage reduction while you are taking a flag, 30% from being on the enemy flag, and then another 50% from just trying to take the flag, which is disgusting and absolutely kills defenders, as well as an attack debuff or attack buff when you proc and hit a stunned unit. So he has a lot going for him. It is very obnoxious, and he is very difficult to deal with, I will not lie, but there are counters out there for him. We'll get into that later in the video. Next, let's talk about the Roger cons. Now, he is immune to status and mobility status effects. So what that means is abilities like Tremor, abilities like Candyfy, abilities like Freeze will not work on him when he's on the enemy flag. But what will work on him are other status effects such as Poison, or a Flame, or Anti-Heal. So that's kind of one of the biggest cons right now is Anti-Heal. Homeboy will block out that 30% heal that he gets if you hit him for fat damage, and he can't really get rid of it either. So make sure you try and get that Anti-Heal on him. It'll make killing him significantly easier, so work with that. Multi-hitters are also very useful, provided they are immune to stun when he's taking a flag, so try and have that multi-hit so you can get him off the flag easier. Shield users are significantly useful. We'll get into that in a second. If you're immunity to stuns, like immune to stuns, that's also one of his users who are immune to stuns kind of like are a con to him. And then he's kind of weak to status effects when they're able to spam it. So things like Uta, she can't really spam her Singe ability, but if you're fighting against someone like a Charlotte Prospero or like a Whitebeard who can Tremor, even though you do destroy Whitebeard, but if you have people like that who can keep setting out their Tremor skills, like as soon as you take a flag and it's yours, you're not really immune to those status effects anymore. So just keep an eye out for that. You are immune when you're on the enemy flag, but only the enemy flag, and that's your safest territory, as little of sense as that makes. So just be wary of that when you're playing Roger. Next, let's talk about the characters that Gol D Roger counters. He is a dark unit. He's like our first dark unit, and he is a runner. He destroys light units. Remember the type chart. Dark is very, very strong against light, and then they take a regular amount of damage from the 3 colors. So the 3 colors are technically strong against him, but not nearly as strong as dark is to light. So you'll destroy a lot of light units. You can pretty much one-shot Whitebeards if you just decide to kill them first instead of trying to take the flag. So just be careful if you do take the flag first before killing him. He has the potential to destroy you right after you take it. So just be careful of that. Other units that you do counter is anyone that you can stun, basically. So Olin has been thriving in the meta for the past year and 2 months, and now she's basically irrelevant because she just gets status affected and stunned, and she cannot protect her own flag from Roger, who can just walk up and take it, unfortunately. So Olin is kind of getting booted out of the meta from Gol D Roger. Alright, now I'd like to talk about the Roger counters. Now, as the Roger counter, the characters that Roger counters was rather a small section, but he overall just does really, really well against many, many units. So there's not really main people that he specifically counters. He's just greater than a lot of characters that exist in the meta as is. Now there are his counters that we're going to get into right now. The top 2, and you're probably #1 go-tos if you really want to just one-shot and are really sick of Gol D Roger, I would strongly recommend using Film Red Shanks or Roranor Zoro from Onigashima. So the Black Cloak, Zoro, whichever one of those, if you guys have those or have those maxed, I would strongly recommend using those against him because you'll be able to destroy him because they're both immune to stuns and can just destroy him anyway. So Roger can't really do too much against them, luckily. There are other options that exist, things like Hybrid Yamato. As long as Hybrid Yamato has her shield up, Roger can destroy her. If you're playing it really dumb, Roger can kill you as Yamato, but if you play it relatively safe, you should be fine and can fight him and kill him back because your Frostbite effect does work on him and he cannot get rid of it because it's not an immobilizing effect. Other units that can do really well are Onigashima, Raiden Onigashima Robin. Nico Robin, she does really well. She's just overall great against runners. And then things like Charlotte Cracker, because he has the 80% reduced time to status effects, so he can actually get Roger kind of off the flag and kind of put his skills on cooldown so Roger can't sit there and spam and run away with his skills either. So Charlotte Cracker is actually thriving in the meta yet again, and also has technically the color advantage, so he has a lot going for him. Just in general. So just be wary of that and keep an eye out for that. All right, next let's talk about the medal suggestions, why most of you might be here. I was digging to see if there was anything that gives you skill cooldown while you stun. There's a lot to dig through, so if any of you come across a medal that does that, I believe you could potentially go with a set like that if you want to try and build that out. I can't remember if there is. Please comment down below if you guys can find a medal trait that will give you some kind of cooldown when you stun a unit. Now, I found one that gives you increased damage towards stunned units, but that's not really what I was looking for. I guess you could build that out, but that's not necessarily what you need. Anyways, let's dive into my chart that I like to do for these guide videos. He is the Dark Runner. Luffy mixed matches, I think damage increase is kind of one of the most useful for you, so you can kind of one-shot whatever it is you're trying to take the flag from, whether it be attackers, defenders, runners, like, you'll be able to kill them. As long as they're gone and out of your way, they can't do anything and they can't fight back. So might as well just get them out of the way first, and then you can just take the flag without any trouble or worry about when you do take the flag what's going to happen after that. So Luffy mixed match, I strongly recommend the top damage increase because you do get the extra 5% heal, so you'll heal like 35% health when you cap a flag, which is actually really insane, and you will be taking flags lots and lots of times in a match. I've had like 8 flags taken in a match, so just be on the lookout for that. The below Luffy medals, if you want to mix and match those, whichever ones you have accessible to you, I would go with those generally first. Another great set, honestly, I wouldn't even say one of these takes precedence over the other. They're all very viable options, except maybe the last set at the bottom, but we'll get into that in a second. Animal Kingdom Pirates, you have the King, you have the Elef medal, and then you have the Jack medal. They all thrive about being on the enemy flag, which you will be almost 2/3 of your game. If as long as they have enemy flag, you'll probably be going towards there. Rarely should you be defending, nor do I think you should be defending, so you should always just be charging for the next enemy flag. Don't worry about defending at all or trying to stall out the game, depending on the circumstances. This is a phenomenal medal set. It works well with Kit Law. It gives you plenty of cooldowns, gives you all the basic skills and cooldowns and tags that you need, and gives you a little extra some on top of that between each of the traits. So be wary of that. Next up, you have the viable cap speed from the Dressrosa set. You have the Laufey medal, you have the Doflamingo medal, as well as the Warlord Law medal. So those kind of really go well together. You can fit those together. I think that's a great set. They give you cap speed and will help you take flags even faster. And lastly, I want to dive into this Odin medal. First up, you have the Kozuki Odin medal, which when you're above 70%, you'll reduce damage received by 5%. A little extra tankiness does go a long way, and I always appreciate that. Next up, you have the Paradise Waterfall medal. When your HP is 50% or less, you'll increase damage by 5%. I do realize these two don't always affect at the same time, so obviously you'll have to be high HP or low HP. The main thing is that these fit together, and the main reason I'm bringing up this medal set is the fact that you can get 18% stats towards Roger Pirates. So if you grind out this medal set right now, it'll be great for F2P players if you have medals on hand to try and get those 18% for free instead of having to worry about challenge battle. And the last one is the Odin Roger Pirates medal. Win an area around your enemy's treasure, boost the cooldown reduction speed of skill 2 by 13%, which is your dash, your running skill that lets you speed around the map at the speed of sound. So it's up to you, whatever you choose to use. I just kind of wanted to throw that last medal on there for easier access, so depending on the players and what they have available to them. So that is all I have for you guys. This is my Gol D Roger V2 guide. I hope you guys found this useful. If you did, be sure to like, follow, and share. I would appreciate that. If there's anything that you think I missed, leave down in the comments, and I will try to keep them pinned below and kind of keep them updated. So that's all I have for you guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful night, morning, evening, whatever time it is for you. I'm your boy Romanpuss, and I'm going to be taking off. Yasopp! Peace, beautiful people.